Hi, Abby here from Ballerinas by Night, and today I'm doing a video that's been much requested, much asked about, and that is dancing after pregnancy. So to give you a little bit about my story in terms of having had a baby, I was young. I was 23 when I got pregnant and 24 when I had him. You know, my husband and I have been married, and we bought a house like pretty much as soon as we found out, and it was being built, and I was in graduate school trying to finish up my graduate work, and I was working, and I had been dancing pretty regularly, so I was in like pretty good dancing shape. But from pretty much very early on in pregnancy, I was not able to take class anymore. Like, you know, if you'd asked me, I would have totally said beforehand that I'm going to be one of these people who's dancing, you know, up to the day that the baby's born. I was physically not able to do it. I got huge. From the time I was like 2 months, I, started showing a lot, and it wasn't comfortable. It didn't make me feel better. It made me feel worse. So, I already had like so many things going on in my life that I did stop going to ballet class, and I did not dance through my pregnancy. I did work out, and I kept myself active and healthy, but not through ballet. So even now when I see some of these videos of people who are pregnant and able to do, really amazing things in ballet, like I totally cannot relate to that because, I see like these little dancers with bellies, and that was not me. I was all belly. I was so huge. I'll show you a picture. So I had my son and really did not do anything dancing wise for a long time after that. Again, I was finishing up graduate work. I had a newborn. I stopped working, but there was a lot going on. My son was very sick his first year, and we were trying to deal with his health. So, it just wasn't time. There wasn't time to go to class. It took me about 9 months after I had him to, get back down weight-wise to where I had been. And actually, whatever was happening, hormonally or whatever else at that time, after 9 months, it was actually easier for me to lose weight for a while. It didn't last forever, but it did come off. But I had to be very, patient with myself. And, I had my mom, telling me, it takes you 9 months to have a baby, so give yourself, a full 9 months before you even start worrying about it. So fast forward couple of years, not that many years, but a couple of years, and I get back into dancing. And I really I'd never done anything special after I'd had a baby, and I had a C-section, which also changes things big time. I'm going to get to that. So I didn't do anything special after pregnancy to really take care of my abdominals. And a couple of years later, I felt normal walking around and stuff, so I just got back into dancing. I didn't even think about it. And the next thing I know, I was really injured. And I've talked about my hip injury before. And I was working on a Dulcinea variation, and I was doing a bunch of hops on point on my left leg. And then I went in to teach one of my baby classes, and I did the butterfly, and I just started having this shooting pain in my hip, and all wrapped around to my lower back and my hip area. So it was kind of sciatica, piriformis, all of that stuff just kind of all wrapped up together was just kind of messed up. I went to the doctor, and they diagnosed me with hip impingement, which, maybe there was some hip impingement, but I don't think that was the root cause of what was going on with me. And I got into physical therapy, and there were several months where I couldn't walk during the day. I could warm myself up and I could dance, but then I couldn't walk later on. I'd be I'm fine, I've been dancing, I'm fine. And then I would get in the car and drive home. By the time I got home, it would be the most horrendous pain I've ever felt in my life, just trying to walk inside. And again, trying to take care of a child in a studio and all that kind of stuff was tough. So, I have been dealing with that injury for years, And 2 years ago, when I was still dancing, I had a friend take some pictures of me while I was warming up. And I looked at these pictures. I was just working at the bar, and I realized like I was like totally and completely swayed back. My abdominals were completely forward. My back was swayed, and that wasn't what it felt. That wasn't what mentally I thought my body was doing, because I'm very aware of, you know, like my core and my hips. And so it kind of like really caught me off guard that you know, these were just pictures taken while I was just working. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that's what I look like. So keep going, keep going, keep going. Fast forward, I stopped dancing because I was in too much pain. You know, like my hip was just in constant pain. My body was in constant pain. And, you know, I took time off and did no dancing, just teaching. And, you know, my hips felt better. Well, this spring, you know, I was going to this gym and I found a Pilates reformer. And I started working on a Pilates reformer, and these muscles, these core muscles right around my C-section scar, lower abdominals, totally wrapping around to the hips, like they just started to like wake up. I was like mind blown. All these years I've had these lower abdominal muscles, you know, where I think I probably have a good bit of scar tissue from my C-section scar, and I think that that is absolutely related to why I got injured, because I didn't know for the level of, you know, dancing and activity that I was doing, how much I needed someone to really like be guiding me to take care of those abdominal muscles again. And I have, you know, I always say that, like, you know, I hate my stomach because it's kind of like wrinkly, and like I have abdominals if you just look at me in a leotard, and my students always comment on that, like, oh, you've had a baby and you still have great abs, but like the actual like skin is, I'm going into too much detail, but it's not pretty. And I feel like even just since I've been working on my Pilates reformer, even the skin in that area has improved. So the biggest thing I would say to somebody if you've had a baby or are going to have one is, you know, if you've had a child, still, like, it's not too late. Like, find someone who knows how to work with, you know, post-pregnancy bodies and go work with them. And if you're about to have a baby, you know, find some kind of, you know, Pilates class or something where they know specifically how to work with someone who's been through childbirth, especially if you have a C-section, because that's just a totally different thing. And of course, if you have a C-section, you have to give your body, you know, ample time to heal. But talking about, you know, like months after that, even years, I think there is a lot that can be done to improve things. I think we also just have to be really careful that, you know, I will get really super frustrated with myself when I can't do something that I know at one point in my life I was capable of doing. And we just always have to remember that it's not about being able to do what we could do before or what we see somebody else do. You know, it's always just like, what are our bodies capable of today? Because obviously if we've given birth, you know, like that is always going to be a change. And we can't be exactly what we were after that, but we can certainly be the best that we can be now moving forward. See if you can find, you know, if it's physical therapy, if it's something else, find someone who knows how to work with your core post-pregnancy, to watch for, you know, just especially, like I couldn't get any of these lower abdominals activated. It was just, you know, like I was walking around sway back all the time, and my posture, even just walking, and my musculature has totally and completely started to change these past few months for the better. I mean, I think it's very true, like even if you haven't had a baby, it's like those same muscles, you know, come into play. It's just that after you've had a baby, you have, you know, one more obstacle to overcome. But that's why I'm huge about just like your basic Pilates reformer workout, because I think I've never seen anything that allows you to find your lower abdominals and that wrap around the hips as well as that. and to make sure that you're lengthening your lower spine. And I have double scoliosis in my lower spine, so I'm always trying to like lengthen there. I have several things that I'm kind of battling like that. So, you know, I mean, I'm not sure like how helpful just my personal experience is, but I know I've been asked this question a lot, so it's like that's what I've been through, and that's the best advice I can give is just don't skip it, and don't think that you can just like hop back into dancing completely. You know, I think there are people who can, but especially if you've had a C-section, and if you were like me and weren't dancing through pregnancy, or, you know, like I say, my son's about to be 9. This has been years ago that I've been dealing with this. And I don't think it's ever too late to just go back and try and make sure that everything is as it should be with our core and our muscles. And we just have to kind of be aware and give ourselves, you know, space and room to be where we are. So that's all I have for today. Hopefully the next video coming to you will be an advanced ballet class. I am about to go out of town for a couple of weeks for my son's first summer intensive. So it might be after that before I can get it to you, but that will be coming up pretty soon. And that's all for today. Bye.